I could, very briefly set up Trufig. 25 years ago, Scott Struthers and Jeff Spencer, the founders of Sonance, invented the in-wall speaker. They're really credited with that. CEDIA has recognized that achievement and inducted that product into the Hall of Fame as of last year. When we look back at that, we really don't see that breakthrough as an audio product. Really what Scott and Jeff did 25 years ago is they took something that existed within space and interrupted the design and the continuity of a project, made a frame around it, and were able to put it in the wall. Scott's very famous for saying, you know, what we did was not create a new speaker. We created something that made something that was ugly look better. That's a pretty interesting concept. We fast forward 4 years ago, came to a show in Denver, to see the exposition, and showed the architectural series line of products. For Sonance, it's a completely flush speaker. It's really the first completely flush speaker, really matched with seamless light fixtures available from a variety of companies. Again, what we did there was not introduce a revolutionary new speaker itself. What we introduced was a revolutionary mounting platform for a speaker that allowed us to achieve a completely seamless and flush installation. Well, as we did more and more architectural series projects, we found ourselves on higher and higher end construction. Through that process, what we realized, the jobs that you all work on, these products are highly prevalent across the spectrum. No matter if that's $1 million house or a $100 million house, the people are using the products that you see to my right and to my left. The one thing that does change is the higher end project, the more refined construction, the more customization of these products occurs. People flushing these products into baseboards, people doing very specific reveals around trims so the lighting control keypad only sticks out 1/16 of an inch. People custom manufacturing bezels for things like touchscreens. Highly prevalent at the luxury end of construction. The other thing that we heard, and you hear on an everyday basis, is that typically the electronic system contractor gets involved later in the project. And when that happens, these things become an afterthought to the overall design of the space. So you have a perfectly, let's say it's a contemporary or modern home, and you have the situation presented exactly like it's presented here, where you have a touchscreen and a lighting control keypad that really compromise the design integrity of that space. So a couple of things were happening. One, we saw a lot of high amount of customization happening with these products. That customization costs lots of money because it takes a lot of time for the architect to specify it, for the general contractor to interpret that specification, and a lot of times the results fall on your shoulders to execute. That's not repeatable. And so when you go project by project, it becomes very difficult to ensure that these products line up with the design vision of that architect, interior designer, lighting designer, or ultimately the homeowner. And then secondly, we realized that what we had invented 25 years ago, and again 4 years ago with the architectural series mounting platform, is a mechanism that improves upon the aesthetics of speakers. And we said, if we can do it for speakers, why can't we do it for other things? And so the idea is to make the products that you see here look like the products that Charles is not going to cover and are installed on this side of the wall. We are not the technology. We are not the touchscreen. We're not the lighting control keypad. We're not the receptacle. We're not the data jack. We're not the volume control. What we are is an aesthetic kit for pride and proven technology. From companies like Crestron, companies like Lutron, and companies like Leviton. I can't believe I got the Lutron one wrong. I'm surprised you decided to do Lutron. One of the things that you'll notice here, obviously everything's installed perfectly flush to the wall. We'll get to how we accomplish that in a second. But when you look at the fact that all of these products occupy exactly the same space in a luxury or refined home, the one thing that stands out to architects and interior designers as we introduce Trufig to them is that you have design continuity across multiple manufacturers. How many times have you installed a keypad and a receptacle, maybe a volume control, or an audio keypad right in the same space, and all of the interpretations of white are just a little off? Often, right? Each manufacturer has their own idea of industrial design, of color, and of texture. Trufig not only makes all the technology installed seamlessly into the environment, but it provides continuity of texture, finish, and industrial design across multiple manufacturers, thereby starting an entirely new category that is additive to each one of your businesses. This does not detract from anything. It doesn't take away from anything that you're doing. It is simply an addition. Do you like that one or do you like this one? And it's one of the easier sells that you can ever come across. Because 100% of the people that we have shown Trufig to prefer the look of Trufig to the look of the traditional counterparts. If I could swing by here. We have 15 different products in the family representing touchscreens, lighting controls, consumer receptacles, GFI, data jacks, light switches, volume controls, and then audio keypads. Certainly, we have plans of doing many more. These are the products that we're starting with, and we have a laundry list of things that we're looking at. Think back on the projects that you're involved with today. Think about the ugly things that protrude into the design, into the space. Things like security keypads, things like smoke detectors, things like sprinkler systems, things like pool controls. The opportunity to make those things look better is huge and really uncharted territory. Trufig represents not only an additive component to your business, but the opportunity to engage the specification community at a level you've never been able to before. I know many of your companies specialize in getting to the architect and engaging interior designers. They care a little bit about what we do, but overall they don't want us to muck up their design. They care a lot about Trufig because it makes that technology blend in seamlessly to the design, so it can be thought of earlier in that process. Every single architect that I have personally talked to has been intrigued enough to Trufig in order to give us 5, 10, 15 minutes. And that has traditionally turned into 1 hour and 2 hour of, hey, I want to understand how to incorporate that in my projects, and I want to understand all the parts and pieces and how it goes together. Three standard colors, white, brown, and almond. And you have the ability, all of these are paintable. We have a custom color process that we hand you. You can hand the painter and they can detail the finished color for all of the faceplates on site. Questions?